some time. And the last time I had to cancel because I was sick.
I got
And that
corona.
and you got corona.
I
And I
did. I
got
just was
sick
supposed to be
too.
positive like on Monday, negative on Monday. So
Oh my gosh.
I
Then we were
know.
both sick at the same time. I had to take 10 days of antibiotics and headaches and whatever.
Oh
But
no.
anyways, we're back to being gorgeous, brilliant, talented, and fabulous, right? That fits to our topic today.
hmm
Think and sing like a star. But before we go into our topic, I want to welcome everybody here in our interview with this wonderful lady, Miss Fawn Arnolds.
Thank
And
you.
she's been living in Germany for about 35 years, she was just telling me. And Effie, can we also see the comments here on the side? Because
Chat.
we're streaming into YouTube and into my profile.
Oh wow,
So
YouTube too.
yeah, we're using Restream.
I love
So
YouTube.
yeah. So, anyways, I'm so excited to hear so much more about you, Fawn, because I know that you've got a brilliant, amazing vocal school, and I have been following you for quite some time, and being amazed of how you're wonderful your students are, and how much success you are having in teaching people how to sing. And I started to think, you know what, this girl and I we're on the same wavelength, because this is our mission, is to help people start to believe in themselves and to believe that they can sing, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
So
That's the main thing. I mean, sometimes you just got to fake it till you make it. Mentally, I mean, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
exactly. And that's why I tell all my students, when they get up in the morning, go in the mirror and say, "Good morning, you are gorgeous, brilliant, talented, and fabulous."
Yes.
And then you go out of the house and you just nail it, right?
That's right.
So let me tell you a little bit about Fawn, and then she can tell us also a little bit more about herself. Fawn was born in Wichita Falls in Texas. I guess it must be beautiful, because even we had some. Who was it that wrote the song? Pat
Pat,
Metheny.
yeah.
Pat Metheny wrote a song about it, so it must be beautiful.
Wow.
And when she's not performing in Germany, she is teaching and coaching singers in her residence in Boo, which is near Baden-Baden.
Yeah.
Yes, and she also has an online school called Singen Ohne Angst,
hmm
right?
And I have
So,
one in English too called Belt Like a Pro.
oh, that you have a course, or is it a
Do have
school,
a
or
course. Yeah. It's a
it's a
course called
course?
Belt Like a Pro.
Okay, great.
There's out there.
Yeah.
And
Ah,
otherwise,
wonderful.
German Singen ohne Angst online
Mhm.
Gesangsschule.
Okay. Sounds amazing. Tell us a little bit more about yourself. What brought you to Germany?
I came
What's your
over.
background? What
I know.
yeah, tell me. I want to know everything.
I'm like pretty much I wing it. I'm a winger. I wing. Well, I always knew that I wanted to sing. My parents were musicians, but I wanted to dance. So I was dancing and I got actually a scholarship to the University of North Texas dancing, but I didn't complete my degree there. I got a job and I left because my
Uh-huh.
parents were very poor and I had no money. I was trying to put myself through college. And even if you get a little scholarship like that, University of North Texas was a big jazz school, and so the funding for the dance department wasn't that big, and I just got like a little scholarship, and I was really trying hard to make it, and I got a job in California as a dancer, and so I went to California and just threw everything away, my whole college, and I went to California. And when I was dancing there in a jazz dance group, I got casted in a girl group. This is back. This is back when like the Spice Girls were hit.
Oh my gosh.
And so
Okay.
they said, we're going to do a European tour. and I got the job. And so we were like just a bunch of girls that were thrown together from a casting director. And oh my God, we hated each other. And we toured Germany. And that's why I came to Germany. The name of the group was Gloria. Beautiful music.
Oh, okay, okay. And what did you guys sing?
We sang all kinds of like we had a pretty good manager. We were the warm-up band for DJ Bobo and for
Wow.
Captain Hollywood and for On Rage, and who else were we the warm-up band for? I got to meet Jennifer Rush. We did this big event where Jennifer Rush was there. I love her. She's amazing. And yeah, and so we covered stuff. We were just like a warm-up band. We didn't do our own music. Yeah. And
Okay.
then our manager skipped town because he didn't pay his taxes. I don't know if I should be saying this.
Oh, I think there's other people like that have just gone to jail because of that.
So we still had like 3 months left of the tour, and and his girlfriend didn't even know where he was. She was like she was like the stage manager, and she was crying, and she was like, "Well, let's just do the tour anyway." And so we did it anyway. We all pulled together and we finished the tour. And after that, I stayed and I started auditioning for musicals in Hamburg.
Okay. And where were you in California?
And Victorville, California is where I live because up in the high desert, it was cheap. But we toured everywhere, like San Bernardino. And we always had to go, I had to go down the hill every, weekend when we did our shows. But I had to live in Victorville because that was too expensive, girl.
Okay. Well, where was it close to?
Victorville? Close to San Bernardino. Barstow.
Oh, San Bernardino. Okay.
Yeah.
On the Route 66, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
San Bernardino.
Barstow.
Okay. All right. Yeah, sounds exciting. So you started singing, doing auditions for musicals.
Yeah, and I got
then
into Schmidt's Tivoli in Hamburg in the company. I worked in the company, and I hardly spoke any German, but they were so good. They didn't speak English with me, so that is where I learned my German. And then after that, it just kept going.
So they brought you over to Germany?
No, I came over to Germany with the girl group.
Oh, and then you started going to auditions for musicals.
Right, after our manager skipped town.
Ah, okay, got
This
it.
is too much. Is this like a bad soap opera?
Yeah, you should write it. You should write a book about it.
I know.
The story of how I got into singing. That would
Really?
be, yeah.
Well, and I met my voice teacher I don't know if you know Kay Montgomery. Do you know Kay Montgomery? Okay.
Kate?
Kay Montgomery.
No.
Okay. Well, she was in Phantom of the Opera, and she was my voice teacher because I didn't know how to sing. I was dancing more than anything, and I broke my back dancing. And my doctor said you cannot dance anymore.
Oh my gosh.
He said it could be 5 minutes and you'll end up in a wheelchair. So
That's terrible.
So I went to my voice teacher and I was like, "Oh my God, I can't dance anymore. I don't know what to do." And she was like, "Well, then you'll just sing."
Yeah. Why not?
And I've just had more success with singing than I was with dancing. So,
well, that's really amazing. And I'm sure that for a lot of my students, that is a really, that's a really great thing to hear, because many of them say, well, we didn't study, like you did. And is it possible? And I said, of course. So when they hear that you got into your singing because you couldn't dance anymore, and then then I guess you took lessons. You had your vocal teacher.
Well, that's it. And I didn't like officially study, but girl, I'm studying. I'm still studying. Like, I don't stop studying. You know what I mean? Now,
absolutely.
Music theory, I have to learn that too. To sight read and all of this stuff. It's just so important. And so I study, but I don't like study at a university. I study privately. I study with coaches.
Well, you don't have to study at a university. Nobody's had, absolutely not.
It's wonderful when people do that, though. I wish that I had now, being adult. But what do you know? Maybe I can go back and do it.
Yeah. Who knows? You're never too old to do anything, right?
Thank you. That's right.
And I started out singing jazz when I was 38.
Are
I
you
mean,
serious?
that is late. I was
But you
almost
sang
40.
classically, right?
Okay, I have a degree in classical singing, and then I came to Germany. I got a good degree in vocal jazz here in at the university, Gerhard Mercator Universität.
In Duisburg.
And yeah, you know, and yeah, and that I think that was the time. Yeah, that's when I started studying when I was 38, and
Oh,
yeah, I studied for 4 years, I guess, and you know, I was absolutely though addicted to learning. I'm a learner. I love
me
to
too. I
learn.
still am.
You know,
I
I just and then we were talking about this last night because I did a live training on Charlie Parker confirmation on bebop, which is, you know, really, really challenging. And they were saying, "Oh my God, how can we sing that?" You know, and I said, "Well, you know, you start off and you just have fun with it." And I think that's I don't know about you, but as a vocal coach, it's not important to take this all so serious. You got to have fun with it, and then it starts to grow on you, doesn't it? You start to get addicted, and then you want to learn more, and it becomes even more fun, and then you start to see you're making progress, and it's you know, it's not all
That's the
about
thing that a lot of students don't realize, that people, when you're on stage, people don't want to see somebody that's perfect. We were just talking about this. They want to see
yeah.
somebody up there
There
having
ain't
fun.
no perfect out there.
Thank
There
you.
ain't no perfect.
Hello, there's no perfect. You know what? There's not perfect.
Yeah. You know, this is a big thing that hold a lot of people up because I say 80% of my work is helping people to believe in themselves. You
Thank
know,
you.
helping people to say you are good enough just the way you are right at this moment. You don't have to be better. And of course, I have a lot to learn. I
Of
have a
course.
lot to learn. I want to be a better improviser. I will never stop learning. You know, learning. We're gonna stay in this whole thing probably till the day we die, till we come under the earth at some point.
Exactly. And I hope it stays that way too, because it's so exciting. It makes my life so exciting. It makes my job so exciting. And it just, because you don't just stop. You don't ever stop. It keeps going. And there's the new
Exactly.
stuff comes, and I learned like 2 years ago, I learned how to do the metal rock distortion stuff. You know?
Oh my God.
So fun,
Okay.
and it's actually learning that. I've never used it. Like, nobody hires me to do that. But
Oh, you
it
never
helped me
know.
it helped me make my like, coordinate my voice better for other stuff, and I didn't know that. Because, like,
Oh
what that
wow.
metal distortion does is it just moves that mass of the secondary vocal cords.
Hmm.
And when you start getting that kind of coordinated too, then you're gonna have a lot more coordination. I didn't know that. I'm like, "Hmm." And
Wow.
sometimes I think the metal distortion, like before I belt or before I sing a high note, and it gets it
Hmm.
really precise then. It's really cool.
Oh wow,
Maybe
that's
you wanna
interesting.
try.
Yeah, I have never I didn't know that, and I've
Yeah,
never experienced singing this hard metal stuff, but you know, yeah, that sounds really great. So tell me, after you started auditioning for musicals, what was
mhm.
your first musical?
Well, I was in Schmidt-Stivali in Hamburg for a long, long time. I was there for 6 years, and then I got my first big break in a big musical, Les Miserables, and I went to Duisburg from Hamburg.
Oh, I love
I
that.
was Les Mis, and I was in the ensemble, and I got the, understudy of Madame Thenardier.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
So that was really good, and from there, I went on to the MSI Aida for a year. I was on a ship for a year, and I toured and sang in the ensemble there. And then when I got home or back to Germany, I went to Stuttgart because I got Dance of the Vampire, Tanz der Vampire.
Mhm.
And I also did
Oh.
Mamma Mia there in Stuttgart as well. So,
Oh, wow. So
yeah.
you did quite a bit. And then, are you still doing work?
I'm not doing any musicals because they're en suite, and I just can't do something where you do 8 shows a week. I've got so much other stuff to do. I love teaching. Also,
Yeah.
I do lots of gala work now because I've been in those musicals, and I also have a little guitar player that I work with. Well, he's actually pretty tall, but he plays
Mhm.
amazing guitar, and we have little gigs. And I'm on the ship here in Strasbourg sometimes, and
Mhm.
so I do a lot of performing, but I just don't do it 8 shows a week. The girl,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that kicked my booty.
I know what you're talking about. I perform
Oh
6 nights a week in half a year in Shanghai, and then 6 nights a week, a half a year in Peking, and 6 nights a
my
week, half a year in Singapore, 6
Mhm.
nights a week in Dubai. I know what you are talking about, right? And
It's
you have to be really, thank the Lord, I have a really, really good vocal technique.
yeah,
Otherwise,
me
you
too.
just can't, because I'm singing, I was singing as a soloist, right? And I had to entertain and, be the
Talk in
one.
between and all that stuff, and then in the break, you're talking to people, and yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, right? And I really enjoyed it. I mean, it was great, to be the luxury was amazing, right? You get treated like you're Queen of Sheba kind of thing.
Yeah.
But actually, I like performing in jazz clubs, even though there's not a lot of money in it. But
Yeah.
a question that I wanted to ask you is, um, have you did you have a problem in trying to decide whether, like, teaching takes a lot of my time.
Yeah.
Doing an online business takes a lot of time.
I'm
It
telling you.
takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of time. And when I'm in my zone, when I'm teaching and doing my online business, which means you have to do social media, you have to,
Marketing.
there's so much. I thought, when I first got into doing an online business, I thought, oh, I just get myself a camera and, I'll go live and I'll have people come in and I'll teach them. That's it. Well, hello, that's not.
No.
It's a hell of a lot of work, and people, I don't think
Oh, my
really
YouTube
realize.
channel, just my YouTube channel, like, that could be my career alone. You know what I mean? Jeez.
Yeah, like trying to
And there's
cover everything, putting your
Facebook,
stuff.
Instagram, and stuff. I am overwhelmed. I'm like, "Geez," you know?
Actually, I need somebody like Elfie does a lot.
Yeah,
She does everything, but
right.
actually, I should have someone to help her to take care just of YouTube, right?
Exactly,
And
yeah.
doing
You
all my
still
my
have to do
training.
it, like, you can't just give it up. You're still gonna have to do your own videos. You can't have Elfie do it. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, of course,
yeah,
but they have, being able to make it nice and pretty and,
mm,
do all the editing and so on and so forth. It's a
right.
lot of work. So I have been neglecting my singing for about, well, actually since 3 or 4 years. I mean, I did do a CD 2 years ago and
Right.
did a tour, and I did
Okay, well,
here,
wait, what is neglecting your voice for you? Like, for other people, that's
uh
not neglecting at all.
neglecting performing, let's say
Oh,
that. I'm
okay.
like, I saw someone who just got the jazz prize for Germany jazz prize. And she's teaching at all of the Hochschulen, the high,
Yeah,
and she's performing all over in the jazz clubs. She's not doing any online business though, right? And
right.
so sometimes I find it hard. I think it's hard to decide what do can you do both? Is it possible really to do both?
Well,
I
this is
mean,
like another topic, and I actually had an interview with somebody with a doctor because I had a burnout. I don't know, people in America don't know what that is. Well, I don't know, maybe people like I'm just in America, people a lot of people in America don't know a lot of stuff, but it's
okay.
another topic. But like in Germany, we have this thing called burnout, and we don't have that in America. Do you have that in Canada?
Really? I
Yeah.
have no clue. I thought people get burned out. Sure.
Well,
don't
and
they?
because I was doing that, I had my own musical dinner show because I knew all of the stars from the musicals, and so I was like, "Come, let's just get every weekend these great gigs, and people can eat dinner, and we sing our musical songs. It'll be great." We all had costumes and stuff. It was awesome. So I was doing that. I did that for almost 10 years, and
Okay.
I was exhausted because I did
I know
everything.
the
Do
feeling
the
well.
direction, I had to do the rehearsals, I had to do the casting, I had to do the posters and working with restaurants. Oh my God. Like they are not your best partners. Some of the restaurants were really good because they did events, but others you're like, okay, we need this much room for the stage. We have to put the tables here and here, and you get there and there's nothing done. And you have to
Yeah.
then before your show, you're like moving tables around and stuff. Jesus,
Yeah.
and then your
Yeah.
sound guy, you have to find that you have to buy the sound equipment and all of this stuff, and then have oh my God. Okay, Francine says in Canada the term burnout is quite known. Okay, good, yeah. And so,
Mm,
and then I was also teaching and doing my online school, and I was like, I was exhausted. Like, wh-
hmm
like I was driving to a gig and I had to brake my car real fast because in Germany the traffic's like, and I just
Yeah.
started crying. Like I was bawling, and I bawled for like 2 hours, and I got to the show and my eyes were swollen. I
Oh,
said, okay. And
this
I
is
had to
it.
go get help. And thank God I noticed it like early enough. Like I would go to sleep at night and I would be like, God, I just don't think I ever want to wake up. And I was like, uh-oh, red flag, time to get some help. And I had this great doctor, Dr. Frunk, and he was a big Mamma Mia fan, and he helped me find a psychiatrist immediately. And within like 2 or 3 months, it was better. And I had to really organize. And I just kept thinking, we have this thing as performers that you've got to take on every job. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's like it's also like a gratitude thing. Oh, well, thanks for. And if the jobs are well paying, then it's even harder to say no, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, well, I just couldn't say no. And then these
Well, I
students
know the feeling well. I know the feeling well,
and the
because
students would
we
come
have
like,
to earn
"Oh,"
our living with it,
right.
right?
And
And
so
earning your living as a musician is not like a 9 to 5 and you get your paycheck at the end of the month or something, right? So
exactly,
you're
right.
taking everything, doing everything, tingling all over the place. And so would you say that most of your effort is now in your online business?
Yes, I decided to make that my main business because
Oh, okay.
I have more time for creativity. I really
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
And
Was that decision difficult?
no, no, it wasn't because
Okay.
I was I will always have music. I don't have to be performing like 24/7
Mm-hmm.
and have 8 shows a week in order to be considered a legit performer. You know what I mean? I've
Yeah.
done that. I've done that.
Yeah, you've done that, been there,
You
and
know? I'm still the star. Really. And that's something I had to learn because I was thinking if I don't perform, my students won't trust me. I won't be considered a great vocal coach. I won't be considered a singer anymore. That's malarkey, you know?
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
can,
yeah,
I mean, we've done so much in our lives, right? But we have always this feeling that if we're not constantly performing, if somebody doesn't want us on stage, then we're good for nothing. And that's not true.
yeah,
We
yeah.
have already been there. We've already done that.
We've
We
done
can
that.
still do it when we want to, but that's just the way I decide. And I'm not putting myself under that pressure anymore.
It is a great deal of pressure, and I noticed that it's put me under pressure because I think, "Oh my god, you're not performing
Nobody
like
wants me.
you
Yeah,
used to perform." Like,
right.
I was performing, let's say about 10 gigs a month. And, well, of course, since COVID, that sort of stopped, which I was so grateful for because I had time just to relax a little bit.
You can
Yeah, you
still,
can pick and choose and do occasional concerts. Yeah, but if
exactly.
you're like me, I'm a go-getter, and
Yeah.
if I want to do something, I want to do it well. Now
Well,
we were
I
talking.
just
I was
wanted,
talking to Francine yesterday about this topic of perfect. I hope
yeah,
you heard what Fawn said, Francine, about there ain't no perfect.
there's no such thing, not even in nature. Try to find the
Yeah.
perfect rose. Everybody else, and the funny thing is about that coming, we were just getting off topic, but um, the funny thing about being the perfect, and this is something that's really cool because I like all of the famous stars who have like a weird voice, like Shakira or Michael Jackson. I mean, Michael Jackson has an amazing voice, but he also had like that quirky stuff in
Yeah,
there. You know
yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
And those are the things that those are the little imperfections that make him famous. Or Shakira. I mean,
Absolutely.
she doesn't know if she wants to do a yodel or not, But that
Yeah.
da, 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 and she goes into a big fat chest voice and doesn't mix and flips over, and then all of a sudden she mixes perfectly and sings something classically, and you're like, dude, you know?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
and that would be, like, forbidden and forbanned, and no, you can't do that and everything, and she does it, and exactly those imperfections is what makes her famous and what makes her unique.
Right,
So a
right.
lot of times, and this is what I teach my students, especially in Singen Ohne Angst, is I teach them to find that little imperfection, and instead of avoiding it, find a way to market it, a way to use it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Just for
like
people
the
who
Kim
don't
Kardashian.
understand. Exactly. People who don't understand German, like Francine, Singen ohne Angst means to sing without fear. That's the
Yeah.
name of her school. So I'd like to tell us some more about your school. Tell
Well,
us about how it works. I notice that you have it seems to me you have a membership that you're also putting it into the Facebook group where people can
yeah,
post their singing, and
yeah.
then you also have a place where you can you're doing a training for vocal coaches. So tell
Mhm.
us about that,
Well,
and
my school
how
is
did you start off with that?
well, I had so many students, and I can't teach like more than 5 or 6 hours a day. I get sucked out because I just put all of that into that's
Me
my problem.
too. That is
That's the same with me on stage too. I'm always exhausted after shows because I put 20,000% into
yeah,
that. And so
I know exactly what you mean. And
and so
that is our personality. We can't do it anything else. I'm putting
right.
all of my time, my effort, my soul, everything into my online business, into my 10-week course right now,
Right,
right? I
right.
don't really even have a lot of energy because I had, I was in the hospital. I'm getting I had
Yes, how's
my
your knee? How is
yeah.
it?
I'm feeling really much better since 2 days. I started to change my nutrition. That makes such a big, big deal with me.
Yeah.
I fasted for 2 days, with Glaubersalz.
Oh, yeah, getting it all
Ugh,
honey.
yeah, and then drinking lots of water and
Yeah.
just, fasting for 2 days, and it's really amazing. I feel so much better, and it's
Well,
only day 4 today.
I had all these hip problems and knee problems and everything, and I was like, God, and at that time, that was like 2 years ago. I wasn't even 50. But it says I love to run and I do yoga and stuff and I'm active and I just couldn't figure out what was wrong with my body. My everything was swelling. And so I did a week of a fasting week with just soup, with like just soups and
Yeah, yeah, with
all this
soup,
stuff.
that's what I did.
And it helped me so much. And so now my husband and I, we only eat like raw vegetables and
Yep,
fruit during the week. No coffee, no alcohol, only raw vegetables from Monday to Friday. And then on the weekend, we can do what we want and go out and eat. I don't eat meat, but my husband does. And I love cheese though. So cheese, if we
me
want
too,
sugar,
I'm a cheese
sugar.
nerd.
Oh my God. And I have like lost all this weight. I didn't even want to, and I did. I mean, it's always good.
Yeah,
And like my rings are all slipping off. They're not, everything's not swollen anymore. I have no pain at all.
mhm.
And I'm like, and everybody's like, how can you do that? Just during the week, no sugar and no carbs and no la la la. I'm like, if you feel the way I feel, that
Yeah.
is motivation enough. So I'm so glad you did this.
Exactly.
Will help
Yeah,
you.
and I think it's really important for singers too.
My
One
voice
of
is
the
much better too.
your voice
Yes.
gets better, you feel better, you have more energy, and of course, I'm sure that you also send your singers to get fit. Either they have to go walking or do something, because if your body is not strong, then you can't sing with strength either.
Exactly. You don't have any Lungenvolumen. What is it called in English?
Oh, I'm so happy that there's someone else here who's looking for English
What is
vocabulary.
Lungenvolumen? Lung volume?
Lung volume.
Capacity.
Yeah.
Lung capacity.
Because Francine's in my 10-week course, and of course
Oh,
she
great.
doesn't understand German, and I'm always sometimes searching for English vocabulary. So this is really great.
No, it's
Volume,
capacity.
Francis
It's
said.
like the
Lung
capacity.
capacity. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
got
Yeah.
it. See, I'm not that
Yeah.
blonde.
Yeah. No, you've just been living in Germany for a long time.
I'm
Yeah,
telling
and I
you.
think this is so important also for singers, because if they don't have a lot of body strength, I mean, if you just take a look at Pink or any of these singers, they're really fit, right?
Yes, right.
And if I notice it myself, even myself, I mean, I have a pretty consistent voice, thank the Lord. Like I don't have ever. I did have my voice gone because I had a Kehlkopfentzündung. I don't know what you call that in English.
A
Kid
laryngitis.
Laryngitis. I had laryngitis like 2 weeks ago, right? But generally speaking, I never ever have trouble with my voice.
Yes,
And that is like gold. Like, if you don't have trouble with
do you
with
have a
your
lot of
voice.
allergies and stuff? I don't have allergies at all. Everybody
I
keeps biting.
have a hay fever in May, and a hay
Were you gonna
schnuppen, hay fever. Yeah, and then I get unfortunately I just can't stand it, so I get a cortisone spritze, and I'm good for a whole year.
Yeah,
But
okay.
other than that, I don't have any allergies,
Yeah.
and I thank the Lord, I'm really really healthy, except that I had this knee operation, and it really, your body strength is gone. Like I'm still struggling even now because I'm not as strong as I usually am. Now, what I
Yeah.
was wanting to say is, if your body is not strong, you're not able to really project your voice. You're not really able to use your voice to the biggest. How do you say that in English?
Capacity.
You capacity that you would be able to when you're fit, right?
Exactly.
So
Well, I
now,
teach that too. It's like vocal hygiene, you know? So
yeah.
part of that is, what you feed your body with, what you do with your voice when you're not singing. Like some people, talk real loud, they don't support, or they talk really in the, in
Mm-hmm.
a bad placement when they talk.
Yeah.
Um, and how they exercise, just what, there's so much there, there's a lot of people smoke still, so I
Yeah.
know.
And also mental hygiene. I think that
Yeah,
that
that was
is
actually our topic today, right?
yeah, that's actually our topic, but I wanted to hear a little bit more about your school,
Hmm.
and for the listeners that
Okay,
can
well, so my school is completely online, but it's not, well, the Belt Like a Pro, I have videos made. It's all made. But in Singen Ohne Angst in my German school, there's no like videos that are made. I go live weekly and I teach the lesson weekly. And
and that's
then
all you do in it, right? Like you don't
well, I
have
have to correct the video.
PDFs and audio. Do you have PDFs and
I have
audios and videos and
PDFs
like
and videos. Yeah. So I go
Mhm.
live, and then my students, I tell them the lesson. There's like, depending on what we're doing, there's usually about 3 little vocal exercises, and I have a little lead snippet, a little song snippet, so that they can put those exercises, start using it in a song immediately, right? And so then they go into the school group and they post a video of them doing these exercises. So
Okay, this
that's
is not on your Facebook group, right? This
no,
is not,
no.
no,
This
this
is
is a
in my
private
school. This is in my
in your
school,
school.
right?
Okay.
And the people that have all been in my school or maybe want to go in my school, they come in my big Facebook group and they post their songs and whatever, And we're
Mhm.
all very encouraging. I have like 2,600 people in the group, and not one person is mean. Where we were talking about this,
Oh,
and they start being mean. I've kicked everybody out that does that, and I have got like my little police ambassadors that are in there, and they're keeping everything really clean. And
yeah,
I've
because
got,
that really affects the whole
I know,
atmosphere of the
I'm
group.
so proud of this big group because we are all encouraging each other, and that's so important because if you're afraid to post your song and perform your song in front of a video and post it in the group because everybody's going to, be mean to you, then you're not getting over that stage fright, over that fear. Yeah. And so like in my little group, or it's a big group now, but we are constantly posting and we are constantly giving each other constructive criticism. Yeah. We're not just telling everybody, oh, you're great, even though they're not. We are giving them constructive criticisms. Like we'll say, yeah, that's great. Oh, that's a hard song. But on those high notes, you sound like you're pressing a little bit. What can you do to change whatever?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you can work to get better because you're having with a positive input. You're learning what you're doing good because that's very important that you don't stop doing what you already do good, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
You got to know what you're a star at. Yeah. And
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
help. And then all the little stuff around it, you got to make it better and better and better. And it doesn't stop.
Do you give feedback to every single person in your group?
Well, I used to, but now I've got so many voice students, and that's why I have a vocal school. So I teach vocal coaches my method. It's a 2-year long Ausbildung.
Yeah,
What did he say?
training. Mm-hmm.
And then afterwards, they're official Singen Ohne Angst ambassadors, and they can teach in my school for me, and they correct my students for me. But I'm in there every day. Like usually mornings, I do mornings 6 to 10 or whatever, and then I let my ambassadors go during the afternoon.
6 in the morning?
Oh yes.
Fawn, are you up that early?
I am. I love it.
Oh my gosh. 6 o'clock it's like
Gotta-
6 a.m.
It's like a star. That's what stars do.
Oh, really? I thought stars get up at 10 a.m.
No. I got to work out. I got to take care of my dogs. I got stuff to do.
Stuff to do, places to go, people to see.
There you go.
Okay.
And I meditate, and I've got to have, I also have a really short attention span. So it takes me a little bit longer to do stuff. Like probably I would have been considered an Aida.As, whatever.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
In my day, we didn't have that. So nobody called me that.
Yeah, I think I have that. Because I'm not as structured as a lot of other people.
I know. I'm like, oh, look at that bird.
Yeah. And in my teaching, I'm very, very structured. But I never had to do a lot in my 35 Jahre, my 35 years of teaching. I never had to do a lot of written stuff, right?
Right.
Like for example, in the weekend, I have a course coming up, right? Saturday, 10 to 5, and Sunday from 10 to 1. So I prepare. I take out some songs. I'm going to teach them. We're going to do a relaxation exercise, like a meditation, to start off with. Then I get them moving to rhythm and looking at each other and so on and so forth. And then I do vocal technique. Then I do breathing and how to use your voice and so on and so forth. And then after that, after lunch, we start singing the blues, and we have then the opportunity of them get up in front of the group to sing with the microphone. Well, you don't need a lot of written stuff. Like I have never done so much preparing in my entire life for courses as I do for my online courses. I spend hours and hours preparing.
And then when you write all that stuff, nobody reads it.
That's what I'm wondering. Like I
have everything on my website, exactly what happens, and everybody calls me like, "So how does that work online?" And I'm like, "Read." Oh my God.
Yeah, and like I have for every single week, we've got an amazing Elfie. I give her the information, and she makes this amazing workbook for 10 weeks. They get a workbook for every
That's
single.
awesome.
You know how much work that is? And then they like PDFs which I record and just sing the song, and then we just do the melody. And so it's really, I don't do that in a normal course. I've never, even when I was teaching at the Hochschule, the
Yeah.
people come, you know
Yeah.
exactly what you have to do. You have
Mhm.
a song and you teach. That's it.
I know.
And then online is just
You get the worksheet
so
and
much
yeah,
work
I
to
know.
to prepare, and people want to have this and then they want to have that. And
But the thing is
anyway,
I have like over 200 voice students, and I would never be able to have that just
wow.
on one. You know what I mean? So, and I'm still, but I didn't want to give my students here just here's your CD, go learn. You know what I mean?
No, 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 no.
I've done some stuff like that, and I just don't like that.
No,
And
I think you always have to. That's what I love about doing my 10-week course. I'm
yeah,
on there 2 hours on Tuesday,
go
and
live.
then I do a live training, and then we do breakout rooms, and then on Thursday we
Super.
do a Q&A session,
Yeah.
and they can ask me everything. Then they get on a hot seat, and I think the personal the contact, the personal contact with the coach is really really important, right? So I wouldn't
Yes,
want to
I mean,
do a
like, for my students, most of my students come because they're afraid. They've always wanted to sing, but they're afraid. Yeah.
yeah.
So, and we're getting over that. So, working with video, where you have to show yourself on video, because that's anyway weird,
Oh
anyway.
yeah, I know all about it. I'm encouraging my people.
It cures that so much because they start getting used to. I mean, like at the beginning of the course, it's a whole year. It goes for a whole year. My course.
Oh, okay.
And we do. I did a sports mental coaching training. That was a 2-year training or 2-year education, and I learned how coaches mentally get their athletes in ready for
Exactly.
yeah. And I'm like, I want to learn how to do that for my students. And so I went to a school in Stuttgart, and I learned how to train mentally for like performancing or getting yourself, ready for the yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And
To
so it takes a while though. So over this whole year, we're working not only vocally, we're working on the mental aspects of it too to get
yeah,
these people
absolutely.
right. In the beginning, everybody's like have their hair perfect and they're look gorgeous,
Yeah, everybody wants to be perfect
and
and
then
have
like
their
after
makeup
like
on
6
and
weeks, people are like in their pajamas and they're like, I can't do this exercise. They're like, "I can't do it anymore. I've been working for hours."
yeah, well, that's it. Like I was saying in my course last night, I did a video because I wanted to tell people about you that we're doing the interview. I did a lot of Werbung, a lot of
Mhm.
promotion.
Advertising.
And I wasn't even with makeup or anything. I looked terrible probably. I mean, I thought I looked terrible, but you know what? You are what you are, and you ausstrahlen, you radiate who you are. And it has nothing to do with your makeup or what you've got on or any of that stuff, right? And so if people would start to just love themselves the way they are right now. And I'm
Because that's
also
what's gonna make you radiant.
yeah, and I'm
Is
also
that
Louise Hay.
self-confidence, right?
Absolute. That's what it's all about. I'm a
On
Louise
days where
Hay
I
trained
feel
training.
days when I feel like cockadoodle, when I just like and I can put on as much makeup as I want, and I'm still not gonna radiate because I'm just
No,
not there,
absolutely not. No, exactly. Exactly. And I sometimes think I would like to do more of that, and with just the vocal technique. I'm also a Louise Hay trained motivational trainer.
I love Louise.
I do too. And I got to sing at her conference here in
Oh my
Hamburg.
god, I've got goosebumps. Oh my god, really?
Yeah, and I sang, I love myself the way I am. There's nothing I need to change. I'll always be the perfect me, and so on and so forth. And I got to sing that, and 2,500 people singing that song. They were all crying and everything because,
Oh.
it's not about how great the song was and not how great I sang it or whatever. It's the feeling that people get when they start to realize, hey, I am really okay. And then you're able to open yourself as a singer, right?
Right.
And now we're coming right into our topic now. Think and sing like a star. If you start to realize and think, are all the thoughts that we think all day long, is that what we are? So, and that's what Louise Hay says. So if you think the whole day, I can't do this, I'm too old, I don't have a background of singing, whatever, all of the excuses that we have, that singers have, and you probably know as well as I, they've got all kinds of excuses why, why they can't sing and why they can't sing in front of a group and why they're afraid. And this is the biggest, and I understand you calling your
They
group
focus
Singen
on
Ohne
that
Angst.
though.
They
They
focus
focus on
on
that.
it,
Instead of saying, I don't want to do that, what do I have to do? What do I have to think? That's just the opposite of that. You
right?
know what I
Right.
mean?
And
And
that's why it's so,
in the beginning, that's hard because you're so used to feeding your brain all of that negativity. And you
yeah.
feel like you're not being honest when you say, "Oh, I'm great. I could do this. I know that I can do this."
I don't think I'm great. I'm great.
I
People don't
know.
believe it, but they don't realize if you start using affirmations and meditating in the morning and journaling and, writing down the positive things that happen in your day, then you're going to remain in this, I would say it's almost like a little prison of I can't, I'm not, I won't, and so on and so forth. You're never going to get out of that. So, I use a lot of the teachings of Louise Hay, when I'm teaching voice, because it's not
Amazing.
just about teaching the vocal techniques. That's just one little part of it, right?
Exactly.
That's just one little part. I mean, the biggest part is to believe in yourself, is to be able to get up on stage and just say, you know what? I'm good. I am a star.
Exactly.
I am a star.
And
And
that's
of
not
course,
anything like a lot of people, especially Germans, they think that that's being like snobby or being too like full of himself, you know?
right,
And it's not. I think
arrogant.
yeah, I think that they can use a little portion of proudness and self-confidence. You know what I mean? It's almost like that's
Yeah,
not been allowed since the Second World War. You know what I mean? They're not
yeah,
allowed to think they're
yeah,
great or say they're great. And I
yeah,
just noticed that. It's like it's now gone over generations and generations. It's been passed over
yeah,
and people just can't like if I say, "Oh, you did that good. You got that note." They'll
yeah,
be
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah,
"Oh yeah, I got it better
yeah,
next time." You know what I
mhm,
mean? Instead of going,
yeah.
"Yeah," you know?
Well,
And
German people have not grown up for the most part in being praised. You see
yeah.
that in the German school system, right? I
Yeah.
mean, how many teachers are able to praise and like, you and I as vocal coaches say, "Yeah, great, you did that great." And
Yeah,
when you say that, a lot of my students they start crying because
yeah.
they're so touched. Nobody's ever said that to them ever.
Well, that's why I
No,
try to teach my vocal coaches to be that way. Like when we give somebody a correction, I'm like, okay, how can we write them the correction or tell them the correction without using anything negative? No negative words. No, not, and that's really hard, but you can do it. And it
yeah,
changes the whole critique then. It changes it.
absolutely,
It
absolutely.
makes it more, tangible, it makes it more like, "I can do this." Just align
Yeah,
just psychologically it does, you know what I mean?
absolutely,
And,
absolutely.
and that's why I take this 2 years time to teach my vocal coaches that how to do that,
Wow.
and to celebrate the people when they make it when they do something right, go right there, and, because my husband does that too, he's German, he's very German, and, he'll be like, "Well, that was good, but next time you have to do this and this and this and this and this." You know what I mean? I'm like, "Oh," he does that to his son.
Ow!
I
Yeah,
know. I'm like, "Let's
yeah.
just
Well,
stay with what he did good. Why can't we do that for a little while?
well,
Tomorrow we'll work."
I've had people in my course because I teach in German, right? Like I've been teaching for 35 years in German. I don't teach in English in Germany. And all of my when I teach at the Hochschule, when I teach at the music school, when I do my courses, I also have my own private courses here, right?
Right.
Or my own private students, and I teach them all in German. So the thing is, once you tell them, "Hey, that was wow, that was really, really good." And they said, "How can you lie to me like that?" Like
I
they don't believe.
know.
They don't believe it, you know. I said, well, that was really, really good. You have to see where you were, when you started, and where
Exactly.
you are
That's why I
now.
do that. Those the before and after videos that are on my page that you've been talking
Yeah,
about.
that's a
That's why I
good
do that,
idea.
because the person that's actually doing the before and after, they don't see that. And then all these people are commenting like, "Oh my god," and "Oh my god, this is so much better," and all this stuff. And then they're like, "Oh, okay, I get it." You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Because we
yeah.
just
People
sometimes we get so
people don't
stuck in
want
our
to. They're so used to, especially in Germany. Now I don't know anymore. What I mean, I come from Canada, and I know my student Francine comes from Canada. Marilee's there. Hi, Marilee. Marilee
Oh, it's good to
is
see you,
from
Sarah.
Florida.
She's a student of mine. Melanie's
Who?
gonna start the ambassador school in September. Yoo-hoo!
Oh, great.
She's gonna be so good.
But how do you do your ambassador school? Is it
It's
also
also
once a
online.
week? Pardon?
Yeah, it's online and once a week.
Okay. And you do, just 1 hour a week, and what
Well,
else?
well, yeah, they get their lessons. Well, the first year they learn my technique, yeah, how to do it, and then the
So they have
second
to go through the school first.
right, and then the second year they learn how to teach. So I take videos and I give them videos, and I said, "How would you correct the student? What would you say? What do they need to do?" They also have to make up their own little exercises and post them in the group too. Sometimes we also have a mental training part of it too, where they have to learn that as well. At the end of the 2 years, they have to take a written exam and they have to teach somebody in front of me that I grade them. And
Oh,
I'm really,
wow.
really a mean teacher. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, you are really hard on them. I bet you
Wrong,
are.
wrong. No, I'm kidding.
So back to our topic about think and sing as a star. What is the first thing that enters your mind when because that was your topic, so I
Yeah.
thought that was a great topic. What was the first thing that made you want to talk about that topic?
Well, because that's why I am where I am. Because we were talking about this. I haven't studied. I haven't, I started out as a dancer and I quit dancing and I went on to singing and all of this stuff. But everything that I've accomplished, it
Hmm.
was first. Everything. Like if I auditioned for a musical just because I'm like, oh God, I need a new job soon. This contract's running out. I've got to go to audition. I would go audition, but I couldn't see myself there. I never got it.
No,
When
no.
I went there and I'm like, "Oh my god, this part is for me," and
This is my part, and
I got it.
I'm going to get it.
Got
Yeah, exactly. This has happened to me a couple of times. Like when I wanted to go to Shanghai, I was in the swimming pool and I was swimming like this, saying, and I could see myself,
Yes.
getting picked up at the airport, getting into that limousine that really,
There you go.
very luxury of limousine, driving through the city, stopping in front of this amazing, like I was at the Ritz Carlton Hotel, Ritz, like it was, five
You were
star.
putting on the Ritz?
I was at doing the Ritz, getting out in front of this, and the doorman comes up, Mrs. Raffat, how are you? The director is there to greet you, and you go up into this amazing hotel. I imagined that
Yeah.
before, and I
Yes.
knew I had this feeling this is going to work.
Yeah.
This is going to happen. And 3 days later, I got die Bestätigung. I got the confirmation. Yes, visualization is so, so important. You've
Right.
got to
And
see
you have to
yourself.
go into these details like you do because your brain, this is what I learned when I went to my training about being a coach for athletes for mental training.
Mhm.
Is that when you go into details enough in your visualization that your brain, that part of your brain doesn't really know the difference of if it's happened or not.
No, no, no. This is exactly what happens when you tell yourself, I am gorgeous, brilliant, talented, and
Sassy,
fabulous,
sassy.
right? Exactly. As whether, like if you get up in the morning, I just see there's another student of mine on here, Brigitte. von Clut.
Hi,
And she
Judy.
says, ich habe Fawn auf YouTube unterrichten gesehen. Super.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's been a long time student of mine. I haven't seen her since COVID. Brigitta, komm zurück. Ja,
Ja, komm zurück.
komm zurück. What's going on here? No, but what I was saying is, what was I saying? I was saying,
Visualization, and when you wake up and you say,
yeah,
yes,
yeah. Like if you wake up in the morning and you go in the mirror and say, "Oh my God, oh God, look at all these fight and these wrinkles, and oh my God, you need to go on holiday, girl." And then you go and say, "Well, it doesn't even worth me getting dressed anything special today. You know, I look so awful anyways, and I hope I don't see that guy that I'm kind of crazy about because, you know, he's another league than I am. So how do you go out of the house? Right? So if you get up in the morning and say, I'm gorgeous, brilliant, talented, and fabulous, I get in the shower and I come out and I say, yes, this day is amazing. And then you go outside and all of a sudden you're not surprised that people look at you, people smile at you, people greet you, and things start to open.
then you have a good
Doors
day.
start to open. Yes. And do you know Abraham Hicks?
No, it doesn't.
Abraham Hicks is amazing. Called Abraham Hicks. What's her first name? She has many books, and she talks about getting into the vortex of high energy.
Oh,
Right? When you get into that, if you're in the low energy, like I was when I was coming out of hospital,
right.
then you know, then things don't work. Things just don't
Oh,
work.
you said that too. You said today I just decided I'm gonna wake up and I'm not gonna have any pain. I've just decided.
Yeah,
That's what you
yeah,
wrote. I saw that,
yeah. And
and it helps.
I don't have any more pain in my knee. It's amazing. I mean, okay, it's now post OP, it's 10 weeks, right? So at some point, but you know, last week I had a lot of pain. I had bronchitis. I had, you know, my Kehlkopfentzündung. I was taking antibiotics. I had headaches.
Yeah,
I felt terrible until I finally realized, you know, you got to change your mental here and also change your nutrition. And for me, changing my nutrition also changes my mental, what do you call that in English? My psyche,
yeah,
right?
right.
My way of looking at things. And then I started thinking, hey, I feel like getting up this morning. I'm getting in the shower. I'm going to do my meditation. You know, you get back into the frequency of high energy.
Right.
Now we can't always be in high energy, right?
No,
We would be it would be, you know, it would not be real if I said, I'm always feeling good. I'm
no,
always feeling amazing. No. And even when I get up in the morning and look in the mirror and say, I'm gorgeous, brilliant, talented, and fabulous, well, sometimes I don't think I'm looking too great, but I
yeah,
say it anyways, and it does affect your Unterbewusstsein, your what was that?
mindset. Your mindset,
Unterbewusstsein is your subconscious,
subconscious. Yeah,
right? And the subconscious listens to the things that you tell it. And this is all Louise Hay stuff, right? The subconscious believes, even you at that moment, you may not be where you want to be, but you're putting that into your subconscious. You're planting the seeds in your subconscious, and you just don't have to do it one day. You know, you have to continually feed your subconscious positive affirmations, positive thoughts. And I have a little box full of my affirmations, and I write them down and my intention and what is my affirmation for that intention. Like, for
yeah,
example, I I want to perform in Carnegie Hall or whatever I'm intending, right?
yeah.
And then I say in the present form, I am enjoying, I'm loving, so excited to be performing in Carnegie Hall in New York.
Yeah.
And that's different than to say, I'm hoping
Yeah.
There's no
I would
Kraft.
like to. Yeah.
I would like to, there's no power in that.
No.
I am
I
gorgeous, brilliant, talented, and fabulous. It's the I ams that change your way of thinking, even if
exactly.
you may not be quite there yet. But in intention in your subconscious will allow the doors to open. And once you get into this vortex of high energy, then doors do start to open, right? And I don't know if you've noticed this with yourself, but once you start getting into, we say manga. How do you say that in English? Manga thinking,
Yeah.
manga, where
Not
you
enough.
think
Not
not
enough.
enough, fear of getting your bills, fear of not having enough money,
I
fear
love
of
my bills and I
losing
love
your
to pay
job.
my taxes.
Yeah.
I paid
What?
so many taxes last year and I was so happy because that means that I'm doing good.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. It all
I was so
depends how you
happy.
look at
Everybody
it.
was staring
Yeah.
at me. I was like, yoo-hoo. I'm getting
Yeah,
paid.
exactly. Here you go, Mr. Finanzamt. We love you and we're just
Yes.
so happy to pay you. Yeah, but
Uh,
the thing is, once you start to have to when and then you have to you get these mental patterns that you've grown up with. And
oh, yeah.
so many people in my course, and especially in Germany, they they've never really experienced a praise and say you can really do that, you're good. It's more or less, you can't do this and don't worry about that, and you can't do this because of this. And when the people come into my course and they're sort of like, "Uh, I'm not getting up in front of that group." And
Yeah.
I say to myself, "Oh, yes, you are." And by the time they get at the end of the chorus and they've been singing on their microphone, um, Brigitte can bestätigen that,
Uh-huh.
can confirm to that, Brigitte, right? People start to sing, they start to open. And once they get their voice open and get their voice out there, and people are going, "Yay, that's great. Whoa, 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 whoa." And then they start to have fun with it instead of saying, "I'm not good enough. This is not ever going to work." And, I'm just here to sort of take a look and so on. So it does have so much to do, especially your topic is also my topic, is helping people to learn how to get rid of their fear when they want to sing, right? To
Right.
believe in themselves. Now, of course, I've had people say, "Well, Judy, you say I'm really I'm brilliant, but I'm not brilliant." I said, "Well, you are at that moment, you are brilliant. Wherever you're at in your singing career or in your life, you're okay. You're
Yeah.
fine." And from that moment, that's the moment where you can start to develop wherever you are. Otherwise, you're gonna hold yourself in a Gefängnis, in a jail. You're not going to be able to allow yourself to open, right?
Well, I'm actually having a workshop, not this weekend, but next weekend, and it's called What Are Your Strengths?
Oh yeah,
Because you go to a workshop because you want to fix something that you don't like, right?
yeah,
So I
yeah.
decided let's have a workshop where we celebrate what we think is good about our voice, what we think is good about our performance, and go that way instead of trying to fix the stuff that's not working.
Exactly.
I've never done this workshop before, so I'm really excited. And yeah, because we're not even going to work. Well, I can't sing that high note. Well, let me show you. No, we're not going there. We're going to go to the strength,
Exactly.
and we're
Yeah,
going to give those strengths lots of food so they get big and
yeah,
strong. We're going to
yeah. I
don't
can
care about this high
absolutely.
note that's not working because your other strengths that are just overpowering that, and
Right.
you riff
And
around
all
them.
of the I had a student call me today. I haven't seen him for some years. He was my student and we had a really great time, and he had a burnout. And so he was sort of out of the scene for a while. He called back, and he said, "Judy, I had to go to a therapist, and I was in a clinic, and he was, went through the mill." And he said, but now I'm so glad that I did because I feel so much more freer in my voice. So it's not just the vocal techniques.
No.
It's also freeing yourself from negative thought patterns, right? And I do a course. It's called Singing with Confidence, and it's sort of similar to what you're talking about. What are your strengths is to take a look and say, who am I? Where am I? What am I good at? Write it down, right? And
Right.
this is so important. This is also important for
Well,
for
look here, I
for
got a student of mine is here on here too. She wrote in German, was mir geholfen hat, ist nicht mehr zu denken, dass alle auf meine Fehler schauen, sondern dass
genau.
ich eine Freude mit dem Gesang mache. Genau. Die andere
Mhm.
Sichtweise hat mir mit meinen Stärken, Ängsten geholfen. Let me tell you about Francisca. We have a program called the Singen Ohne Angst Engel. So the Fearless Singers Angels.
Angels. Okay,
And
maybe we
they
should just translate first of all what
oh,
she
okay.
said because
She
we
said
have
what
some American people in here.
She said what helped me is to stop thinking and looking at all of my mistakes and thinking that everybody watching me is looking at only noticing my mistakes, but rather I'm giving them happiness. I'm making them happy with my performance.
Mhm,
And seeing your performance as a gift instead of
mhm.
thinking everybody's looking at me and everything that I'm doing wrong. Yeah.
Yeah,
Is it just a complete new mindset. So, like, if you go to
absolutely.
a party and you have a little gift and you give it to somebody, you're not like going, "God, I hope they're not looking at my mistakes." You know?
I hope you accept my gift. I
I
hope,
know.
you know,
And when the people
is
open the gift, they're happy about it, and that's what we have to be on stage too. What I feel, the emotion that I feel in that song that I love to sing, and it gives me, chills. I want my audience to have that too. I want to give that to my audience. So if you
yeah,
concentrate that instead of being all like
exactly.
ego mania, what does
Me,
she
me,
think?
me, me, me. How do I look? And that's what I also tell my students. It's not about you or me on stage.
Exactly.
It's about giving. It's about touching the hearts of your listeners and
Right.
giving them joy so that when they go home, they can say, "Oh, that was so lovely. I'm in a
Yeah.
different mind. I feel
Feel
happy or I
better. I
feel
forgot my
good."
day and
Yeah.
like, yeah, yeah.
Right? And this is what I think a lot of singers especially if
Hi,
they're
Melanie.
not
Thanks for being there. She's leaving my girl, Melanie.
okay. Goodbye, Melanie. Nice to have you here. It's getting rid of the ego, right? The ego has no place when you want to become a good singer. Once because I've noticed that someone who is when they're singing, they want to bring all everything that they can do possibly into that song. Like for example, My Funny Valentine. We were working on that last week, and I asked them. I said, "Well, what makes a singer?" This one singer has the vocal techniques. The other singers have vocal techniques, but one singer touches your gets gives you goosebumps and the other one doesn't. Why? Why
Why?
is that?
Mhm.
And it's because that person is not thinking about themselves. They're not, they're giving of their heart. They're feeling the emotion. You're
Yeah.
able then to really give the emotion if you're not thinking
Thinking
about,
about
oh,
all the stuff that you could possibly do wrong, and he's probably noticing,
yeah, and
paint
trying to make your song even more better by putting all of this little diddly and that diddly and oh another diddly from Mariah Carey instead of just sing the song straight.
right.
Just sing the song straight and just of course you can always bring something into it, but it shouldn't be put in just to make people think that you're a great singer.
There
You
you
have to
go.
get away from that and just allow. This is what I tell my students is that allow that spirit to work through you. Allow
Well,
this,
I go ahead.
yeah,
Allow this.
allow the spirit to work through you and allow you to sing without, thinking so much, without,
Thinking the
I hope
stuff
I
that that's not even important that you shouldn't be thinking. I have a student
exactly.
that is in Switzerland, and she is gonna audition for the Swiss version of The Voice. And she was like, "Oh, we need some one-on-one time. Can you have some time to work with me?" And I was like, "Sure." And I was like, "What are your songs you're gonna do?" And she's like, "I'm gonna sing this song because it's really high and really hard, and I'm gonna sing this song because it really shows my range or whatever." And I was like, "Okay, first of all, we need to change your songs because if you're only singing them because of that, you're
You
not
want
gonna."
to you want to wie heißt
Yeah.
das
I'm like,
in
"Which
English?
songs do
You
you
want to
sing?"
impress.
Right. Which song do you sing that really touches your heart?
Yeah, exactly.
And why do you sing it? Why does it touch your heart? And try to make that touch somebody else's heart. That. And it's not the high note,
No.
you know, and it's
It's
not.
usually the very first, as soon as somebody opens their mouth
There you go.
and an audition, right? The very first note.
Very first.
Either this, oh my God, or it's, yeah, right? It's because they're, this is what, for me, what I think it's allowing the, whatever you want to call it, the spirit, the inspiration, getting into that emotion that you really want to give something is, it really changes the sound of your voice.
It does.
And I think if you think, you have to think, of course, you want to, if you don't have that self-confidence yet, like thinking like I'm a star, then you're going to feel inadequate when you get up on stage, aren't you? And this feeling of inadequacy makes you want to overcompensate and doing something that is not necessary when you sing. Just be
Well, I mean,
yourself.
you might have to define star. Some people think it's being a diva and bitching at everybody and telling the sound guy how horrible he is and all that stuff. You know what I mean? But I find that the stars, I've worked with some, pretty big names in the musical industry, and I've noticed that the people that are really good on stage and really have that zone, they're not like that. They don't get freaked out when the costume breaks or when
No,
when the wig lady doesn't have the wig the right way or when the sound guy, we're all people and we're all humans and we make mistakes. They're very self-confident and all of those things don't affect them because that's not what they're doing on stage. It's not about the costume. It's not about that. It's about something way bigger than that, right? And
exactly.
people who are divas, diva can be used in a fun way, but I'm talking about the really ones that everybody is afraid of backstage.
Yeah. And they
Freak
flip
out
out.
before the show.
Yeah,
Yes, it's because they're insecure.
absolutely.
They're afraid, and they don't know how
Absolutely.
else to do it. They don't have anything to hold on to that gives them that hold that.
Yeah.
And oh God, and that was big when I was in the musical industry. I had to deal with a lot of those kind of people, and that was another reason why I didn't want to do that anymore.
Yeah,
Because
you want to be in the nature and see
I want to
the
be.
waterfalls and the, yeah, yeah. Well, when I was recording my CD in New York with, people like Paquito de Rivera and Kenny Barron and Frank West from the Count Basie Big Band,
Oh,
you know, like it was just so amazing. Or Rufus Reed on the bass. Like these people are so humble.
yeah,
They are so humble and they're so, down to earth.
yes,
And how should I put it? It's not about them.
they're in the zone.
And this is it. It's not about them. They are there to serve. And I think this is a thing that a lot of singers don't think, that we're here to serve. We're here to serve. When you get up on that stage, it's not about whether you're going to make a mistake, and it's not about how you look, and it's not really about, you know, it's not, it's about serving. It's about serving the music, working together as a team with musicians, and
Mhm.
being able to present what you have to touch people's hearts, and that's what it's all about.
Well, like,
And so
my girl Francisca, who's watching too, she is in charge of a program that I do. It's called the Singen Ohne Angst. And what they do is they prepare songs and they go and sing at old folks' homes.
what at old folks' homes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Cool.
they have to learn their kind of music. They can't like go there and sing Ariana Grande. Nobody's gonna get it, right?
No. Exactly.
So they have to learn like a lot of the folk stuff from Germany, like the Schlager, and all of that.
Yeah.
And Francisca tries really hard to get the singers to learn that other stuff so that they can
Uh-huh.
make the old people happy. And at the beginning, it's really kind of difficult for them. But then when they go and perform these songs and see how happy the audience is, I mean, like there are people there that haven't spoken for years. They're old and they're in the wheelchair and they're dement, and they sing these songs. They
Yeah.
open up
Well,
and start singing these songs, and we have like,
amazing.
and it just makes you cry.
Yeah.
And work is so important, and it's made so many people like Francisca, who was a very, very stage fright, who had so much stage fright, and now
Mhm.
she's the leader of them, and she books these gigs in these old folks' homes, and she goes there and she performs with them and she rehearses with them and does all of this stuff, and she's not afraid anymore to be on stage. She'll grab her ukulele and start, doing a
Yeah.
medley of all this stuff. She's got
Well, yeah,
she
that's
sees
amazing.
that these people, these old people that were in their wheelchair, that couldn't talk, that don't react to anything,
Yeah.
how they react, how they come to life, and that just made her see, and all of the people that are doing this project, that it's about that.
Yeah. They get away from themselves,
That's right.
right? And this is what I tell people in my course. Even if you're in a course and you're a little further than somebody else, you can learn so much by helping them. Like if you want to learn something, teach it, right?
Yes.
And this is it's all about getting once you start to get away from yourself, then you're
Yeah.
not focusing on me,
Right.
not focusing on my inadequacies, my nervousness, how do I look, da da la la la. You
Yeah.
forget that because you're focusing now on helping an old person just have joy and hearing that song, right? And I think if we as singers, if we're able, especially when you're starting out, to think it's not about you. It's about serving. It's about helping others to feel better.
Right.
That's what we do as singers. We get up
You
there
can feel what
and
you're feeling. Sometimes when you sing a sad song, or you're in a role where you're as a tragical role or whatever, you have to make them feel that too. You know what I mean? So it's about
yeah,
that sharing of this. I want the feeling that I'm feeling right now. I want them to have that too. So it's also a connection that you have
yeah,
as well,
yeah,
and
yeah,
when we
absolutely.
connect, like we're connecting right now, then just you love each other, and you don't start thinking about the other person's mistakes or the other person's.
No.
you
You stop to criticize. It's criticizing is not part of the game.
Yeah.
Right? If of giving feedback, for example, is not criticizing. You want to inspire that person, and you don't want to tell them lies and oh that was fantastic, whatever. When they know okay, there's some like I have learned to tell the truth. As a vocal coach, I always tell the truth because the students can see if you're bluffing it or not, if you're just saying that to make them feel better.
Right.
Right? What I do is pick out the things that are good. Pick out the things that person really did well.
I love
And
you.
well, I told you we're on the same wavelength. And
Yes.
I've been watching what you've been doing, and that's why I wanted to have you here on the interview today. And I just taking a look at the time.
I know.
Oh my God! Usually it goes to 45 minutes, Fawn. But I feel that I could be, I could talk to you forever and ever because let me see who else. Oh, Catherine's on here. Hi, Catherine.
Oh,
Great to see
Mexican
you
is
both.
awesome on there. Hi.
And Max Chen. I don't know. Is that a student of
Yeah,
yours?
yes.
Okay. And Melanie had to leave.
Yeah, Francis.
Marilee. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Marilee. Yeah. So I would love to have you on here again. Maybe we can
I
even
know, and maybe
do
you can
something.
come too and do an interview on mine. It's
Yeah,
really
definitely.
I have to
I
speak
would
German.
even, yeah, I can do that. I can do that. I would even be willing to come and even do a small training on jazz, like for some of your people who like, really want to get into the jazz stuff.
Oh,
That
totally,
would
that would
be
be so cool.
that would be cool. And I would love to have you in my group for some of my beginners and some of
Oh,
the
yes,
people who have had a lot of fear because that's your specialty, right?
that is. Yeah.
And
You need
I
to
think
come to my studio. You need to come visit me at my house too.
oh yeah, I would love that.
We'll go to France and eat Flammkuchen and drink wine.
Oh, I mean that sounds really good. I consider that as
I've
an
got so much
invitation.
I've got so much room. I have, I have rooms upstairs. I have like 5 guest rooms upstairs for
Are you
people.
kidding?
Yeah, so when they come to my workshop, they can spend the night.
Oh, isn't that amazing?
I know. Well,
That
right now
is.
we have 2, Ukrainians in the rooms now. I took in some Ukrainians,
Oh,
and
okay. That's
so
really
but we
great.
still have
Yeah.
3 other rooms, guest rooms, and so you can come and you can spend the night, and we'll have fun in my studio, and we'll swim, and we'll go to France.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk
Okay.
about that because now I'm just starting to get back on my feet now, and I can drive, and I'm starting to feel like almost human again,
Right.
right? So then I would be love to come and visit you. And
Yeah.
see, guys, this is the way it works when you're on the same level. Because I notice in Germany, for example, if I see a singer and I go and listen to her. I go up and say, "Hey, that was great."
I
But in
know.
Germany, I find the Konkurrenz, the how do you call it, the competition, another singer, like, and
I
I'm
know.
thinking, no, that's not what it's all about. We're all working for the same company, actually, and
Plus,
um,
I'm happy when somebody is so good that they inspire me and kick my booty to go and work harder. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
I'm like,
absolutely, absolutely. And I think as singers and as vocal coaches, I mean, it's really important to inspire each other. Once you even get up there in a certain level, to support each other and to. But the thing is, I noticed this when I was doing my recording in New York. These people, like, they're just so kind, and they don't have any alluring about themselves, and they don't have to prove anything to anybody how good they are, whatever. They're just so humble.
yeah,
And then, and this is the thing where you realize, this is what it's about. It's about giving.
right.
It's about, doing the best you
That
can
gives
do.
room to grow too when people are like that because the atmosphere is creative and positive, and then the whole project's going to be even better instead of people like being afraid to make a mistake or something. Make that mistake. Sometimes the
I mean,
mistakes are the good thing about it.
exactly. I mean, you can imagine how afraid I might have been in performing in front of Rufus Reed and Kenny Barron and Claudia Roditi. But they made me feel so comfortable, as if we're just friends, and we're just musicians, and we do our best, and we work together. We make a team. We make a team. We're on a team. We're going to make this the best possible
That's how you
recording.
thrive. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. So, my love, I see that there's still a lot of people. If anybody have any questions,
Catherine's asking, where does Fawny live? I live in Bulle by Baden-Baden, close to the French border in the south of Germany. About 4 hours
Franciscan,
away from
from from
Judy.
Judy. Ja, wir können immer voneinander lernen. Das ist viel schöner, als Angst zu haben, jemand könnte etwas wegnehmen. Absolutely.
She,
Nobody can take.
oh, I love her.
Yeah, there's this is the thing. Somebody thinks going to take something away from your Butterbrot, right? Your
I know.
the butter off your bread. There's enough out there for all of us, guys. There's
There is.
enough. There's enough for everybody, and this is I find important also for your singing to have that attitude. right?
Exactly.
Going to make you a better singer because you're not putting yourself under, I got to get better. I got to prove that other singer. I'm better than her. No competition, guys.
No.
No competition. Also in my group, there's no competition. We have also a wonderful group atmosphere in the group, and it's about supporting each other. It's about helping each other get better
Yeah.
because
That would be a really good interview too. Competition. Let's talk about singer competition. That would be
yeah, that would be great. Maybe we can even do a couple of trainings on certain things. I think
yeah.
we're going to have to talk to each other after this or at some point when you have time. What else have we got here? Ich könnte euch stundenlang zuhören. Oh, thank you, Franziska. Franziska just said she could listen to us for hours. Well, I could talk to Fawn for hours, I'll tell you, because she's just an amazing person.
And you see
And
my dogs lined up here. They're all ready for food. They're all like lined up behind me waiting. 'Cause
I
it's
don't
6.
see them. Where are they?
They're
I
all
can't.
here. Slash.
Oh, okay.
Cooper's
Slashy's
over
there.
there.
Oh, and
All
he's
my
got his
dogs have
little.
rock star names. So we've got Cooper. He looks like Alice Cooper. We've got Slash, who's the guitar player from Guns N' Roses. Then we've got Halen, and Halen jumps real high like Van Halen. Jump.
Oh my gosh.
And then we've got Kiss, because Kiss has like the makeup like the band Kiss. So
Oh my gosh.
yeah,
4
all of my
dogs.
dogs have
Okay.
rock star names
So you've got a lot of family there, huh?
for my babies.
Okay. Did I miss anybody's comments? And it's so happy. I want to thank everyone for being here. And maybe we should meet a little more regularly at some point
Yeah.
and just have what about a singer's hub? And people can ask us.
And then we have to ask Effie, then we can use this as with just the audio and make a podcast out of it.
Sure, we can do that. We could do that. We could start our own podcast, Judy and Fawn podcast.
Yeah.
You know?
And tell about
Uh,
what happened during our week with the students and
yeah. Oh, that would be very cool. That would be very cool. I think we've got something going on here, Fawn. I
me
think
too.
so.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. So if anyone has any question, now is your time to post it. Otherwise, we're going to have to close this wonderful
Yeah.
interview. And I don't even know if I even was able to cover everything that I wanted to ask you. But
We covered a lot.
yeah, we covered a lot, right? So I hope you guys have an idea of how to think, get your mindset set up that you're wonderful just the way you are, and sing like a star. You are as good as you are right at this moment. You get up on that stage and you sing your song. And
And
that
what
doesn't
you feel nobody else feels. That's you. That makes you unique. And so go there and try to share that feeling with your audience,
yeah,
because that's where your uniqueness is.
exactly. And that's where you can even sing a very simple song and touch people's hearts. You don't have to sing the most difficult, the most, complicated song. It can be something just very simple because as soon as you open your mouth, you're touching the hearts of your listeners.
Right?
If you're able to let go of your ego and
There you
just
go.
let it flow. So I think we've covered everything. Where does Fawn live? We covered that. Is there any other questions? The best reaction to my singing was when a little girl came to hug me after our Lovers Leap performance on February the 29th. The last hug I got for nearly 2 years. Oh, Patricia, you get hugs from us in the group, don't you?
I'm hugging
You get virtual hugs, right? We're sending out all kinds of hugs and kisses to all of you, and we want to thank you for being here, Fawn and I. And it has been a great, great, great pleasure and honor to have you on this interview today.
Well, thank you
I
so much. I just feel a great connection, and I just love being with you. And I feel like you give me energy. Suck it.
Oh, well, I feel the same. I feel the same, and I think we'll have some things to do together in the future, and I'm already looking forward to it. So
Me
let
too.
us connect whenever we'll see when you have time and when I have time. We'll
Right.
connect and just what do we call that in English? Just brainstorm,
Right.
brainstorm, and let things happen and see what we're able to come up with. But I think that would be a good idea of just having a singers hangout.
Right.
Maybe I don't know, once a week or once every
Yeah.
2 weeks or
Once
something
a
like that, and just have a coffee and people can bring their
week.
questions, and we're just we'll just have a hangout
That's
and
right.
tell what we've been going through this week as vocal teachers, and our
Right.
our our wins, and how people are getting better and getting up
Right.
and being more confident, right?
Well,
So thank
yeah, we'll talk about all this. I'm already sprudling with creativity stuff, but we'll talk. We'll talk. We'll
we'll
talk.
talk. Yeah. All right. Thank you everyone for
Thanks,
being
everybody.
here.
Thank you, Judy. Thank you, Elfie, for your help
Yeah,
too.
thank you so much, Elfie. And we are saying goodbye. And Elfie's going to end this video, and it will be we'll make a replay of it and put it in my group. And I can also send it over to you if anyone wants to watch it in your group.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. And Elfie,
Goodbye.
what happens now? How do we get